Now we come to the system 29. Yeah, we have proved a Lewis theorem. In the previous slides, we the Cauchy conditions, Cauchy properties, Cauchy problems, etc. And Cauchy's inequality theorem. Now we come to the Lewis theorem. So what the Lewis theorem says? So the function a function f of z is called integral function or entire function if it is analytic in every finite regions. If it is analytic every finite region. So if analytic every finite region, so then that's theorem of a statement of the theorem says. So what is that? A difference is a function f of z is called integral function is or entire function if it is analytic every finite region. This is the statement. If it is analytic in every finite region. Now the statement, the theorem statement. So if I leave this theorem says, if entire function is bounded for all value of z, then it is constant. So what is that? If an entire function is bounded for all values of z, then it is a constant. Then it is constant. Or simply say other way say, if a function f of z is analytic for finite values of z and it is bounded, then f of z is constant. See, f of a function f of z is analytic for finite values of z and it is bounded, then f of z is constant. Or in other way, it says if f is say, regular in whole z plane and if absolute values of f of z less than k for all z, then f of z must be a constant. F of z must be a constant. So what is the proof? Suppose we come to the proof, we let A and B be arbitrary distinct point. We choose a point A and B arbitrary distinct point. Let A and B be arbitrary distinct point in Z plane. And let C be a large circle with the center Z equal to 0. Means C be a large circle with center Z equal to 0. Suppose if we take center Z on origins, or Z equal to 0 means if we take a circle with the center as Z equal to 0 means if we take a circle lies in R center and the radius R. Let C be a large circle with the center Z equal to 0 and the radius R such that C enclose A and B. The equation of C in is mod Z equal to R so that Z equal to R e power I theta dz I or e power I theta. So differentiate with respect to theta, we get dz equal to I or e power I theta. That is, if we take absolute values of dz should be equal to r d theta or d theta. So if f of z is bounded for all z, certainly we can write mod f of z less than or equal to m for all z where m is positive real constant. Where m is a positive real constant. So if f of z is bounded, suddenly bounded, if we can write mod f of z less than or equal to m for all z where m positive real number. So by Cauchy integral formula, so f of a equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of z dz divided by z minus a. And f of b replace a by b. So f of b equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of z dz divided by z minus b. Then if we take a difference, f of a minus f of b is equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c. So 1 by z minus a minus 1 by z minus b f of z dz. So again, I'm simplifying here, taking rationalize. Then we get a minus b in the numerator. This is a minus b is a constant. We take outside. So we get this equal to a minus b divided by 2 pi I integral of c f of z divided by z minus a into z minus b dz. So we take absolute values. So absolute values of f of a minus f of b less than or equal to absolute values of a minus b divided by 2 pi. Integral of c absolute values of f of z divided by absolute values of z minus absolute values of a of absolute value of z minus absolute values of b dz. So we take this all the real constants should be absolute values. So absolute values of f of a minus f of b certainly less than or equal to absolute values of a minus b divided by 2 pi integral of c. So absolute values of f of z into absolute values of dz divided by absolute values of z minus absolute values of a into absolute values of z minus absolute values of b. That is, certainly this number less than or equal to, so this function is bounded. So absolute values of f of z can be written as m. This is constant. We take outside. This certainly less than or equal to m times absolute values of a minus b 2 pi r. Suddenly 2 pi r suddenly divided by 2 pi r minus absolute values of a into r minus absolute values of b. So this suddenly this number are absolute values of f of a minus f of b suddenly less than or equal to m times of r absolute values of a minus b divided by r minus a into r minus b. As this tends to 0 as r tends to infinity. Tends to 0, r tends to means 2 pi get cancels. 2 pi get cancels. So suddenly this tends to 0 as r tends to infinity. Suddenly this means f of a minus f of b is equal to 0. This means f of a equal to f of b, showing that clearly f of z is constant. That means integral of c absolute values of dz is circumference of a circle c is equal to 2 pi r. Circumference of circle of c equal to 2 pi r. Now, the same we come to this simple problem in the Lewis theorem say. So, if we take absolute values of f of 0 as a maximum, so m of r on absolute value of z minus a is equal to r less than rho, then if an is equal to nth derivative of a divided by n factorial, then so that absolute values of a less than or equal to m times of r divided by r power n, and form this deduce the Lewis theorems. So from this statement of Lewis theorems, we come to first to prove absolute values of an suddenly less than or equal to m divided by r power n. So in the statement of Lewis theorem. So the second say let f of z be analytic and bounded for all z. F of z be analytic and bounded for all z. To prove that f of z is constant means absolute values of the derivative of f of a suddenly less than or equal to m n factorial divided by r power n, m into n factorial divided by r power n, where mod z minus a equal to r by 1 is given the statement form. But if taking n equal to 1 means first derivative absolute values of first derivative suddenly less than or equal to m by r. R is given by large. We leave this means cause inequality in the previous statements itself. So hence by making r tends to infinity, the absolute values of first derivative of a less than or equal to 0. The absolute values of first derivative less than or equal to 0. But the first derivative is always greater than or equal to 0. It's a positive, the positive quantity. So first derivative always greater than or equal to 0. This implies that first derivative 0, also all a is arbitrary. Also, see, first derivative should be 0 means the first term is a constant means also alpha is an arbitrary. Hence, the first derivative is 0 for all z. Therefore, df by dz equal to 0. Integrating with respect to z, we get f of z is a constant. So integrate with respect to z, f is equal to some integral constant c is up here. So f equal means f of z equal to constant. So the same way in the if you come to Lewis theorem in the Taylor theorem form. So the theorem in the Taylor's theorem say a function f of z is analytic. A function f of z is analytic within a circle C with its center z equal to a and a radius r. Then at every point z inside C, f of z equal to summation n run from 0 to infinity nth derivative of a n z minus a whole power n divided by n factorial. Or simply we can write f of z equal to summation n run from 0 to infinity a n z minus a whole power n. See where a n is equal to nth derivative of a divided by n factorial. So we take this Lewis theorems in the Taylor's series form, Lewis theorem in the Taylor's expansion form. So if we take f of t be analytic within a circle C whose equation is absolute values of t minus a is equal to r. So let Z be any point within C such that absolute values of Z minus a equal to r. Means if we take a circle, a complex circle with the center A and the radius r, with the center A and the radius r. So by using if A is independent, if we take that f of z equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of t dt divided by t minus z. So this is the form in the, so this is the circle, a circle is in the form, so with the center A and the radius r, so circle moving like this t form, this is the term. So if this is equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of t dt, so here if a t minus z we add, take a, add and subtract. If we add and subtract a, we get, so is equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of t dt divided by t minus a minus z minus a. So adding a and subtract a, so that is we get 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of t divided by t minus a. So if taking t minus a in outside, so we get 1 minus z minus a divided by t minus a whole power inverse. So if we take that term, we get the, here applying the binomial expansion formula. So f of z equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of t divided by t minus a of t 1 minus z minus a divided by t minus a plus z minus a divided by t minus a whole square plus z minus a divided by t minus a whole cube plus etc. z minus a divided by t minus a whole power n plus z minus a divided by t minus a whole power n plus 1 etc. of 1 minus z minus a divided by t minus a whole inverse. So by using this formula, if nth derivative of f of a n factor divided by n factor equal to 1 by 2 pi I integral of c f of t dt divided by t minus a whole power n plus 1, we get, so we get f of z, we get a Taylor series expansions form. So Taylor series where end point is b z, where initial point is a, like that. So f of end point is z and initial point is a, so f of z equal to f of a plus z minus a, first derivative of a divided by 1 factorial plus z minus a whole square, second derivative of a divided by 2 factorial plus etc. z minus a whole power n, nth derivative of a divided by n factorial plus u n plus 1. Some, this is the constant last term. So simply say Lagrange's constants is there. So we can write this term should be u n plus 1. So u n plus 1. So what u n plus 1 is z minus a whole power 1 plus n divided by 2 pi I. So integral of c f of t dt divided by t minus z into t minus a whole power n plus 1. So n plus 1. So again if we take absolute values of u n plus 1 suddenly less than or equal to absolute values of z minus a whole power n plus 1 divided by 2 pi. Integral of c absolute values of f of t dt divided by t minus a minus z minus a of t minus a whole power n plus 1. So here t minus a we are taken outside. So that is suddenly this number less than or equal to m divided by 2 pi of r divided by r whole power n plus 1 into 1 by r minus r into 2 pi r, where m is maximum of absolute values of f of t on c, where m is maximum of absolute values of f of t on c. That is, so absolute values of u n plus 1 less than or equal to m times of r divided by r whole power n plus 1 into 1 divided by 1 minus of r minus r tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Means if you take a limit n tends to infinity, r by r whole power n plus 1 tends equal to 0. Means n tends to infinity, r by r whole power n plus 1 equal to 0. That means r divided by r less than 1. This is limit n tends to infinity, u n plus 1 equal to 0. So this times 0 as n tends to 0. As n tends to 0. That is f of z of limit n tends to infinity of f of a plus z minus a derivative of a plus z minus a whole square divided by 2 factorial second derivative of a plus z minus a whole power n factorial f of a nth derivative of a, because un we are going to last term, the Lagrange's constant un plus 1 term should be constant, so this will be constant tends to 0, the un plus 1 is 0, that is z minus a whole power n by n factorial nth derivative of a, that is f of z equal to summation n run from 0 to infinity z minus a whole power n factorial nth derivative of a is equal to summation n run from 0 to infinity an z minus a whole power n. This is the power series. So we are taking an is equal to nth derivative of a divided by n factorial. This is the constant, where an should be equal to nth derivative of a divided by n factorial. So this is the reduced theorem in some various extensions in by using a Taylor series theorem. So this is the form. So in the problem, you are in this maximum, suddenly this tends to r, suddenly this less than r, that number suddenly less than rho, where rho we are defined.